Hello, my name is Tanya Jacobs, and I am a public health educator and certified lactation consultant. And I'm here today to present some information to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in hopes to secure funding to aid people in Venezuela who have been affected by the hunger crisis. Uh, Definition of the problem currently is due to the economic collapse and a severe lack of governmental support. Many families are facing hunger and malnutrition. Their food is very, very expensive, and they cannot secure that food with what little their jobs pay. This has increased the rate of childhood morbidity and mortality due to nutrition deficiencies and starvation drastically. This ties into the social determinants of health, in that there's a severe lack of resources, job opportunities that pay a livable wage, social norms and attitudes are also affecting this because they are very afraid of their government. So they are showing up to vote in elected officials who are contributing to this crisis actively because of fear of their government. Some of the very small food boxes that they rely on to survive are given to them by the military, and their fear of the military the and the risk of being the risk of being punished is making them show up to the polls and vote these people in. As a public health educator, I will be working with other public health educators, community officials, and other people in the projects to achieve the one goal of aiding in all interventions that can help anyone in the affected areas. The main levels of the socio-ecological model that are contributing to this current problem are policy, community, and the individual levels. Like I said, the government agencies are refusing to help their citizens very much. They're handing out very small rations of food. And this is very upsetting because the country does have a lot of resources. They have oil reserves that they could use to secure funding to feed their populations, but they haven't. The community is impacting this as well. The media, partially because of the government, is withholding information regarding the state of the country, and this is leading to a decrease in global awareness. So that is part of our mission, is to get more people involved, bring more people to the country, and then when we come back and publish some of the statistics, we will increase the global awareness of this crisis, and hopefully that will lead to more people going to help. And like I said, the beliefs and fears of the government have led to re-election of officials who have contributed to this crisis already. We have found 3 proposed interventions that we'd like to move forward with once we secure funding. The first is a gardening intervention using a master gardener to go into these communities and hold classes, and we would give the materials needed for small community gardens, personal gardens in their home, and like small container gardenings for people who live in city areas who would like their own gardens. Multivitamin distribution will be made possible thanks to Vitamin Angels. It's a very easily obtainable grant. So the vitamins themselves will be free of charge. We will just need the funds to go to travel to and distribute these vitamins in health centers or direct distribution in the communities. Breastfeeding support and education provided by certified lactation consultants will be vital. The more people who exclusively breastfeed their baby will decrease the amount of formula fed infants, and this has impacts on health for mother and baby, as well as very cost saving, because infant formula is very, very expensive. To evaluate these interventions during and after, we will be weighing the produce that these people have grown. We'll be conducting blood tests whenever possible, and there will be incentives for these people to go and get their blood tests to see if the multivitamin interventions if people have been compliant with taking them and if it's helping decrease nutrition deficiencies. And then for the CLC intervention, we are going to gather data regarding breastfeeding duration, exclusivity, and then we're going to get heights and weights on infants. And then for all of these, we are going to do a comprehensive survey after to see if the people in the area are happy with the interventions and if they were easy to access, or if there was any improvements they would like to be made, if there's any cultural changes, if some of our programming wasn't culturally appropriate, we would like to change that. We want to make sure all of these interventions are culturally appropriate. There are some challenges that we're going to face. Language barriers, we are going to try to use translators as much as possible, but still with translating services, language barriers can be an issue. Due to the fear of the government and the military, there might be some possible reluctance of the communities, even if they really need the help, to accept the help from an outside source. Cultural differences and the government may not like us being there, but it's very important work, so we're going to do our best to overcome these challenges by making sure we are as culturally appropriate as possible, using translators and going to dignitaries and trying to figure out the best way to work around government and their denial of this issue. Limitations could also include some geographic isolation of some certain families. Some areas are pretty densely populated, some are very widespread and more rural, so transportation funds will be definitely vital to overcome this limitation. For our logic model, which we have given you the full breakdown of, this is a abbreviated version. Inputs, we will need funding for staff, travel, training, gardening equipment. And then the activities that we talked about, gardening classes, the CLC course will be given to local women who would like to take on that role. We thought that this would increase participation in the classes and also lead to these women having a certification that may lead to jobs in the future at hospitals and things like that. And then the multivitamin distribution will have an activity with it with a public health educator who talks about the benefits of taking the multivitamins and how to do so. The outputs will be increased consumption of fruits and veggies through the gardening, decrease of nutrition deficiencies and malnutrition, decrease of childhood mortality, and increase in breastfeeding initiation, duration, and exclusivity. And also, like I said, the decreased spending on very expensive infant formula. The impacts from these interventions will be monitored right after and also in the long term as well. And we are hoping to gather data through the surveys and through hematological and anthropometric data. We're hoping long-term the healthcare costs will decrease and the increased rates of breastfeeding will allow parents to spend less on infant formula and also decrease healthcare costs. We have some references and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.